Welcome to Reunite with Self Podcast. I'm your host, Ruken. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shift in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. There is no more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and which yet no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth. And my mission is to bring you closer to that, one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rockin'. My gorgeous listener, I am so honored and grateful that you are here. Today's episode is gonna be fun. So it is 22 things I learned in 2022. So 2022 was definitely a very lucky year for me. But I'm not saying this from a point where I am, how can I put this? That I am like celebrating many things. I actually am celebrating as well. But I just want to tell you, when I say it was a very lucky year, when I look back at it, it was actually tremendously challenging. Took a lot of guts in my part to take the actions that I have been taking. There was a lot of uncertainty and I was creating my certainty. And I have been working on building things from scratch and many different things in many different areas all at the same time. And so just seeing my growth and the fact that I have been taking all these actions and steps and I actually have changed my life completely in 2022. So when I tell you that it was a lucky year, it's not like I won the lottery. It's not that I see the actual result maybe, but I am on the path. Like finally, and for the first time, I am on my true path. So let's dive in. And one more note, the things I will mention here, I call it like 22 things I learned, but it's actually maybe not all of them that I learned for the first time, like you're going to understand when we begin, but maybe these are things I actually experienced in my life, like firsthand myself over and over again, and confirm to myself their truth. And like really, I believe when like we don't learn anything from outside, but it's just like things remind us of our own truth. So the things we resonate with, we find to be true, are actually things that were already installed in us, but we just kind of need to remember again. So it's like remembering our truth. So let's dive in. Number 1, this is big. Morning rituals are everything. So I always heard that morning rituals are important, that we need to have a morning ritual. But I think it was like in the back of my mind, I don't remember practicing morning ritual. in my life, really, but it was something that I was hearing. But until March of 2022, I didn't have any idea about like what kind of impact it can make. But I began having my morning ritual on March 2022 after a UPW, like Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within training I went to. I did online. And when I did UPW, he talked to us about a morning ritual that was very simple, would only take 10 minutes. And he was like, Tony Robbins was like, if I don't have 10 minutes in my morning, it means I don't have a life. And it just like resonated with me so much. And I love Tony Robbins. You might already know, but he's like number one for me. And I started practicing this morning ritual. I don't want to say religiously, but I cannot find another word right now. But I did it every single morning, no matter what. And I started seeing the change in my life like tremendously and quickly because I was feeling great. And that's all that matters. So, and I still have been having my morning rituals. I sometimes change it a little bit. I have not been so consistent maybe in the last 30 days, I can say, but I always come back to it. And if you do it for a very long time, it's okay. If you don't do a few days, like you just have it instilled in you. Even though I might not do the exact morning ritual, I do something for sure. But now, like, it's a part of my life. It's everything. Morning rituals are everything. And there are so many different things that you can do for a morning ritual, but it's great when it includes bodily, like soulfully, spiritually, mentally, like something that has all the elements where you're working physically, mentally, emotionally, and what's the other one? Spiritually. So you get the point. So morning rituals are really everything. Number 2, everything I had ever felt about unloving actions of someone were real. My emotions were always telling me the truth. So to explain it shortly, my emotions were always telling me the truth. My body was always telling me the truth. If I felt any kind of frustration, confusion, sadness, anger, just, like what the F moment, if I have ever felt that, when I would spend time with someone or, when I would experience anything with someone, my emotions and my body were always telling me the truth. There was no reason for me to repress my emotions or disregard them or dismiss them or trying to find ways to explain to others or to the person that what they were doing were hurting me and blah, blah, blah. Like, now I am certain when I feel something with someone, I know that there is something off about them. It's not the fact that I feel like, it's not to the fact that I'm highly sensitive or this or that. Like, when something is off about someone, my feelings and my body always tell me. I don't need to question it. It doesn't need to make sense logically to everyone around me in that moment. My body and my emotions always tell me the truth. I never need to question them. And there is so much empowerment in this. And there is so much, you gain so much time when you do this. You don't waste your time on any kind of BS. So it's super empowering and liberating. And number 3, there is such thing as narcissism. And it is about unlocking the truth about hidden narcissism that makes the difference, at least in my story, in my life. A person, if they have, let's say, full-blown narcissistic personality disorder, it is so much easier to see it, define it, and take action. But I have seen in my story, and so many people around me, like so many people I have met in my life that I know in my life, they have the same experience as well. There is so much hidden narcissism in families, in friendships, in partnerships, but especially in families. And when you unlock that truth, that there is narcissism in someone, in their actions, in their behavior, that makes the total difference for me. Number 4, when you go on the journey of making a change or taking a huge step in your life, don't tell others about it. So this is not easy, but it's simple. When you are about to take on a journey, when you're about to make a change in your life, when you make a decision to make a change in your life, to do something new, especially if it requires you to be courageous. And I repeat it again, especially if it's something new and especially if it requires you to be courageous. It doesn't need to be a big thing, by the way. Like it just might be some habits you want to have in your life or a routine or a ritual or something, and it makes sense to you, of course, and it means something to you. And especially if it requires you to be courageous, if it's something that you don't see people around you doing, if it's something that will be new to you, if the road, the path needs to have uncertainties, if there are things that out of your control that you're gonna just experience it as you go along, you get the point, whatever it may be. Don't tell people about it. Don't tell your friends. Don't tell your family. I mean, there is always exceptions, but I'm saying it like this because this is very important. Like when you are about to go on a journey and make a huge shift in your life, you can even say to your closest friends that I've made a decision and I'm doing something, I'm working on something that is very different for me, but I am just I've made my decision. I'm really excited about it, or however you want to put it. But it's really important. And I've heard this from a lot of wise men and women. Don't talk about it, especially to people that are going to be naysayers. They're going to question your actions and decision, blah, blah, blah. Because what people don't understand is that just because you are certain about something does not mean that you don't have any fears. You are the one experiencing it, and going to fear is just a choice, and it's so easy. It's easier than, being on the path of commitment, faith, love, because that requires dedication. Going to fear is just what everyone does all day long, and you just seem quote unquote normal when you are in fear and being cynical and critical and questioning things and being fearful and being pessimistic or whatever. If you are going to do something that is going to require you to be committed, dedicated, and you to be courageous, please don't tell anyone. Just do it. It's like the Nike saying, just do it, but there is something afterwards. Just do it, but don't tell others. Just do it. Being in your own energy and creating your own certainty every day is going to make the difference for you, and you're going to understand what I mean by it. And along the way, you're going to find your community, your people that you can share these with. You will feel safe around them. And those people will come once you start making these changes in your life. Number 5, I only need one person's confirmation about my emotions. And who is that? Let's think. Who can it be? I only need one person's confirmation, and that is me. Yeah, simple. 6, you can really make anything happen. So there is this saying that goes like, never overestimates what you can do in 1 year and never underestimate what you can do in a decade, or some people say 5 years. I really truly believe this, but I have seen in my life with crazy dedication and commitment, you can really change your life around even in 1 year. I was talking to a friend a few weeks ago, and I was talking to my mom before that or after. Like when I think back of my life, like especially like exactly a year ago. We are on February now, and I was saying this on January. Even February, it applies, and even December, it applies. But when I think about the life I was going for, let's say January 2022, it's completely and utterly different to what I am living right now. And as you hear on different episodes, my life changed. Like I made a decision in one moment, and then maybe another moment came like a month later. And really what I was preparing for in my life and what I was like planning for my life, it completely changed for the better. And it required a lot of work, a lot of work. But when I really talk about this, like I don't feel tired. Yeah, and we're going to talk about this on another point, I'm guessing. But when you are on your true path, you know it. And sometimes it takes so many years and so much pain and sometimes suffering, so much hurt, for you to come to a point when you make that decision in your life. And you can make so many things happen. Like I always say this, now my life is so different. The things I do in 1 day, I would not do in 3 months before. Let's say 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I'm talking about like really recently. And I always give this example, like when I look at my life now, and there is so much that we can do, like still I'm learning and growing. But when I look at my life now, the things I do in 1 day, like the massive actions that I take to make a change in my life, to move forward, to keep the momentum, I would not do in 3 months. And I was working my A off before. But it's about all the things that I talk on this podcast, and I'm here to serve and support you in this. Number 7, I am just getting started. I know this, I can feel this, I can see this. I can see that I have waited long years, and I don't regret anything, but I can see that I am just getting started, baby. Number 8, all the troubles and pain in my life were signs to direct me to my higher path. Now I see it. Now I see, when I look back at my life, all the troubles I was having, all the pain, all the suffering, all the hardships, they were all telling me something. Like all the people that were on my path giving me a hard time, or me not even realizing that they were giving me a hard time, or they were not supporting me on my path and all the things. They were all signs to me. They were all coming to my life. I'm going to use the word trying now. I try never to use try. I work on never to use the word try. I don't like it, but I'm going to say I was they were trying to tell me the bigger problems in my life. So they were all signs to direct me to my higher path. But it had to come to a moment in my life that I was in so much pain and suffering, and I had no control. I had to surrender all. It was a matter of like life and death, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. It was like it was the peak of my pain that really was a catalyst in my life to make the greatest shift and change and realization in my life. Number 9, things I thought I couldn't do or did not have interest in that was given to me on my path, or the things I thought I needed to hand to a man to do for me were actually things I can perfectly do myself. They were all a sign that I was enough and worthy. So, all the things that were handed to me by the Creator, God, Goddess, universe, and all the things that I thought that I could not do myself, that I had to hand them over to a man to do for me, or that I thought I'm not interested in this. Let me give it to this person that can do it for me, and blah blah blah. They actually held things in them that was super interesting for me. They actually held components of my interests, but I had to create it that way. I had to do it my way. If you struggle with any pattern in your life where there is some topics, some issues in your life that are like a pattern that repeats, and you think that, you just need to get it done, but you don't want to do it yourself. You think you're not eligible, like you can't do it yourself, or you think you don't have the interest to do it, or you think you're not the right person to do it. Well, let me tell you, if it was given to you on your path, and if it's a pattern, there is something in it that you are not seeing right now. And it might actually hold pieces of your true path. So they were all signs to me that I was worthy, that I was enough, and that I could do all of them myself. And they held even more deeper meanings for me, which are all the things I talk about on this podcast. But this is the point that I wanted to point today. Turning the page now. Number 10, moving my body makes me happy. Well, I always knew this, but this year it had to be in this tremendously, let's say, productive schedule. I had to put it in there and move my body. And I love moving my body. And it's all about, not just like physically, but mentally. And you create the magic when you move your body. Like, I got to move my body because I feel so many emotions. I got to move them through my body. And you change when you change your physiology, you change your state, and then you change your life, basically. So moving my body makes me happy. Number 11, it all makes sense now. Everything that has happened led me to this moment. Number 12, my anger lasts about 6 to 15 seconds if I express it freely and with no shame in that moment. It's very important. Of course, I don't need to mention it, but when I mean expressing my anger freely, I'm not crossing anyone's boundary. They don't even need to know it. So my anger lasts only about 6 seconds to 15 seconds if I express it freely and with no shame, honey. And I love it. And it's so liberating. And I suggest to everyone that is healthy, like truly healthy, it just lasts for 6 seconds. And then I start laughing at myself, because it's just like laughter. It's just like an emotion and it passes. You don't need to feel shame about it, but I'm talking to the truly empathic, highly compassionate, loving people who never want to like cross anyone's boundary for any reason. So, number 13, I never needed to wait. This is something that I truly realized this year. Again, I don't feel regret. I think it's just like it was never written in my codes. Like I don't have the emotion of regret ever, and it's a good thing. But yeah, I never needed to wait. And now I see that I waited a long time. And when I say wait, it didn't seem like I was waiting, okay? This is the important part. It seemed to me and people around me that I was not waiting for anything. I was going for it. But actually, I was playing small. I was sabotaging myself in a very like hidden way. It was not clear, like out there. That's why it was like hidden and so effective. I was sabotaging myself just the right way so that I wouldn't realize it and nobody would realize it. But my emotions were telling me because I was working a lot, but I was feeling very frustrated. Now I work 10 times harder. I use my time 10 times more consciously and effectively. I get so much done and do and be in every day, but I don't feel any frustration. I don't feel that kind of tiredness. My energy it just surprises me. My energy surprises me. So, and I'm not saying this to brag, by the way, like you've got this too. That's why I'm telling you, if you are feeling like you're doing everything and you feel frustrated, it's not about what you do. It is about the more like deeper stuff. Are you playing small? Are you accommodating other people in your life? Are you waiting for something? Are you waiting for things to change in your life so you start stepping up? Are you truly on your path? And is there any narcissism in your life? So let's continue. Number 14, I've got what it takes. Number 15, learning and implementing is so much fun. I never knew that I was so open to learning. It was not really like, it wasn't in my part of my life to learn things the way I do right now. Like the kind of like coaching, mentoring, trainings, like everything I do. And fully like committing to everything, and like not wasting 5 minutes. It's just amazing. And when I say not wasting 5 minutes, like it's a very productive thing for me not to do anything, but I don't just like scroll on my phone when I'm trying to relax. Like I do something else that really gives me joy. Learning and implementing is so much fun. And again, I'm not saying anything to shame anyone or judge anyone. I am saying all of this to show you that you can do all of this and so much, even much better than I'm doing right now. You've got what it takes. And we really do not see our potential until the moment we truly change our lives. And then when you see your energy, the life in you unleashed, that's when you begin your journey. And then you will be surprised the kind of energy you get, the things that you can do in one day and still feel energized. And when I say like doing all the things, I don't mean, by the way, I don't mean like sitting in front of a computer for like 10 hours straight. Like I would do that before, but now I live a much like a different life, a much more conscious life where it is very active, but it is not, it's good. It's compassionate to myself. Like, although I get so tired and everything, I am doing all of this like in a loving way for myself. I think the formula is creates itself when you are going for the end result, let's say. And when I say the end result, it's the emotions you want to feel about your life. Like when you start being in that state, you just do the right things. It's just life flows, and I think it's about like choosing to love yourself truly for the first time, like really loving yourself, and knowing the magic of life, like the life that you are given and all the things that you can do and give back. Like your whys, when your whys are really strong, then there is no excuse not to do it. And it's not about hustling, I don't like that word. Yeah. And it's coming from someone who works their A off. Like, I don't want to say ass. I don't know if I can say it. But it's really like coming from someone who worked for 7 days a week, night and day. I'm balancing it more now, but I had to do it in that moment. It was necessary, given my circumstances and the life that I was creating for myself. And I can still like do it. Maybe I'm still doing it and not realizing it, but I'm just like living life fully, so fully that in all areas of my life, I'm fully showing up and just going for that vision that I have for myself and living it today instead of like waiting for things to change or things to happen for me to live it one day. I do it today. I honor myself today. I say no to things today. When I see a narcissist, I see it and I do what I believe in without trying to prove it to that person or proving it to other people or trying to over explain or anything. I just live my life the way that is in integrity with my soul. And I'm learning, I'm growing, but I'm doing it. I'm not waiting. I'm not dismissing any of my emotions. I love my emotions. And yeah, let's continue. Number 16, this is on a lighter note. I am actually a very good cook. So I realized this again. I thought I was a very good, like a baker before, but now I see that I am a fantastic cook. Like whatever I touch, I just create magic and I love it. Number 17, I don't need to care what anyone else thinks. It's never worth caring. Yeah. Like I maybe explained a little earlier, I don't care what anyone thinks. I just live my life. I live it the way I think is the right way. It's not about the right or wrong, but it's just I am on my path. I know this. I take one step at a time and I do it in integrity with my soul. I don't need to prove anything to anyone or confirm things, even to my own logic sometimes. Like if I feel like doing something or not doing something or making a choice or, just like the way I talk to someone, the way I approach someone, the way I am, the way of being, it's just, I am being purely myself. And when I realize I'm not purely myself is the small moments that frustrate me. And I am like aware of it now. I'm like walking on the street and I'm like, something bothered me. What did bother me? And I always look back quickly without like waiting for like a half day, but I just look back at it in like 10, 15 minutes and I just spot, oh yeah, okay, this person did that. I did not reply the way I would normally, or, I was just like maybe trying to avoid the situation or run away or whatever, but I always see it. And I think that's the way I will improve more and learn more. Like, I love learning. I'm open to anything now, but I am just being myself, and it's super, super liberating. And always the magic happens for me when I am truly myself. And I'm just saying this to remind this to myself, because in those moments where it's kind of like a little tricky sometimes, or I don't know, a little uncomfortable, or takes courage to do something different, when I actually do the thing that scares me, but I know it's the true thing for me, then miracles happen. Then universe sends me what you call synchronicities. The magic happens when I am truly myself, when I respond to someone in a way that is aligned with me, and that might even seem like crazy to someone. And P.S., it never looks crazy to anyone. It's just the inner critic in me that is looking to myself, thinking this might sound ridiculous or this might seem crazy. Like, actually, when you are truly yourself, and I am repeating again, like, you're not crossing anyone's boundary or anything. I'm just lovingly being myself. No one thinks you're crazy. Like, barely, maybe a narcissist would feel uncomfortable, but even them, yeah, you never lose anyone by being yourself, like truly being yourself. I lost people, I didn't lose anyone, but I lost friends when I was being myself, and I knew I was doing the right thing even in that moment. And those people know that you're doing the right thing too. Like, there is so much less resistance to life, and it's so liberating. It's so liberating, and no one teaches us this, Like, if we act quote unquote normal, like how anyone would react, our idea of normal. It's no one will come and save us from that suffering or pain. But it takes guts to be yourself. But those are the moments that you look back and you tell that story to people, and it inspires people. So never abandon yourself when you feel something, never abandon yourself. There is always a way that you can express that in a loving way. You can make mistakes. It's okay. You are human. But never abandon yourself. The world might ask of you to abandon yourself, but you never abandon yourself. Number 18, I can work day and night, and if I am on my path, I never feel frustrated or deeply tired. Yeah, I was thinking of this point before. I can work day and night, 7 days a week, doing all the things, being all the things, but I never feel frustrated like I used to. I'm repeating this because I used to feel really frustrated. Like, someone I met told me that later, that the energy they were getting from me was that I was feeling this deep frustration about my life, and they were so true. And you might be doing all the things and feeling super tired in your soul. I'm not talking about like, I'm so tired, I need to go and sleep, or I need to lie down, or I need to take a break, or I need to take a day off. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about, the deep, the soul tiredness from your life. Just, mentally, a mental tiredness that doesn't go away when you go to bed, or the frustration about your life. Like, those things are always, they're not bad things. They're always telling you something. They're great signs. Like, if I only heard this moment in my episode, like right now in this episode, if I heard this 2 years ago, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, my life would have been completely different. It's like if you are feeling frustrated and you might be doing the right business, you might be doing the right thing, you might be in the right marriage, like it doesn't matter, but how you are doing it matters. Like what motivation you are in that moment. Are you playing small? Are you playing full out? But honestly, very honestly, I'm not talking about are you doing all the things or not, because it seems that you are doing all the things, that you're like working your ass off, but still you might be playing small. You might be hiding and in a very hidden way. And that's why it's not easy to spot. And you can't you don't hear people saying this to yourself, like you're playing small, play full out. Like it would look like you are actually doing all the things, but your emotions tell you. Your emotions and your body are your compass. They're talking to you. If you feel frustrated about your life, there is something there. If you feel deeply tired about your life, there is something there. Yeah. And I send you so much love. Let's continue. Number 19. This is on a lighter note too. Walking on sand barefoot gives me life. I always knew this, but this year it was just special. Number 20. I always had the signs. Yeah, I always had the signs. Number 21. I am thankful for everything that has happened. I'm truly very thankful because it all brought me to this moment. I am saying this from a very grateful place. Just because I started making the changes. And the fact that I'm doing this podcast right now. Like if someone told me a year ago that I would have not one, but 2 podcasts, I wouldn't believe them. And I would question if I liked doing podcasts. Like it wouldn't make sense to me. So we never know what's on our path. We never know what our true mission is. Until the moment we make those changes in our lives and the power is unleashed and we put the puzzle together and see why we had that specific life, why we chose that family, why we had that, we had this life story. It all makes sense when we look at in this way. And then when you start being on your path and when you start creating your incredible life, you actually become thankful because those are the reasons that you are on that path. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel this passion if I hadn't gone through what I went through, my life story, experiencing it firsthand myself, even though if it's not the same as anyone else's. That gave me the passion to do it. That gave me the understanding, the feeling that it's so important. It makes such a huge impact on someone's life. And number 22. Number 22 is I am learning and growing. So, of course, I still have challenges in my life. And you know what? Maybe I am having sometimes even bigger challenges. But because I started being on my path and because I am practicing like so much of holding and owning my power every day, that I'm like, bring it on, like I'm a gladiator. I will create victory no matter what. Winter is my season. I create victory. Like, bring me your fears, bring me your doubts. I will bring you success no matter what. I have just this hunger for life, and that is That is the secret, having hunger for life. This is it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share this with someone who you think might benefit or enjoy. I will see you on the next one. I love you so much. My gorgeous listener, if you had any takeaways from this episode or from this podcast in general, I would love to know. Please share this episode with a few loved ones right now. You never know how they can benefit from something so small. And please take a screenshot of this episode and share on IG, tagging me at Khewella. That is Khewella. Khewella. That is my goddess wear brand, my Instagram page. I would love to know what your takeaway was or something you found inspirational or a confirmation you believe in as well. That would make my day. And you can always DM me if you have a topic or a certain question in mind that you want me to talk about. And give me a 5-star rating if you feel like it. That would help this podcast immensely to get the word out. I love you. See you on the next one. I want to see you shine your brightest.